Good evening, San Diego. Recent news from the San Diego Board of Education has indicated that there may be some revisions to the upcoming school year. Reports indicate that the changes within the biology curriculum will be taken. Among them, the topic of Mendelian genetics. Now, many of you may be wondering, what is Mendelian genetics? Let's have a look from our research team at the University of California, San Diego.
Thank you, Sahil. Hi, I'm Sarah Sanger, and I'm with Ion Education. I'm here at UCSD with 3 biology students who will explain the significance of Mendelian genetics. So, can you give the public a brief introduction to Mendelian genetics?
Mendelian genetics focuses on the transmission of hereditary characteristics from parent organism to its children. Gregor Mendel published his findings in 1865 and 1866, but they were rediscovered in 1900. What Mendelian genetics focuses on are the laws of inheritance, the patterns and generalizations that inheritance follows. For instance, we could use Mendelian genetics to discover a child's eye color given their parents' respective eye colors.
How do you determine the laws of inheritance?
There are many components within Mendelian genetics. A genotype is a person's genetic makeup, which may or may not be expressed in an individual's appearance. A genotype consists of 2 alleles, 2 different forms of one gene. There are 2 main types of alleles, one dominant, one recessive, and a genotype consists of a combination of these 2 alleles.
And what effect does the genotype have on the person?
Well, a person's phenotype is their outward appearance, and it is determined by their genotypes. If a genotype consists of one dominant allele, then the individual's physical appearance will portray a dominant trait, no matter what the second allele is. On the other hand, if a genotype consists of 2 recessive alleles, then the individual's physical appearance will be dominated by the recessive trait.
Mendelian genetics has enabled farmers to produce new and improved crops. These breeding techniques have led to the production of plants with resistance to diseases but without mutations.
While we know Mendelian genetics plays an important role in understanding heredity, does the public really know how it affects our lives?
Yes, I do know of Mendelian genetics because my father suffers from sickle cell anemia, which is a genetic disorder.
And how does this affect you?
No. I don't suffer from sickle cell anemia, but I do carry the genes, meaning my children are at the risk of suffering the disease.
How very unfortunate. I'm very sorry.
It's okay.
So Dr. Vargas, can you explain in some detail your research here at UCSD?
Yes, so I'm a postdoc here at UCSD in biology, and I do research with fruit flies. Fruit flies are an excellent model organism for studying development and looking at the function of genes in fruit flies first, and then applying that later to other organisms such as humans. So in our research here, we're looking at specific functions of Hox genes in Drosophila. Understanding how these genes establish specific boundaries during development helps us know how development proceeds normally. And of course, you always learn a lot from mistakes in development. So understanding how mutations in Hox genes affect development also teaches us more about normal development. And so a classic example, of course, would be to see a limb, like a leg or an antenna or a wing. Those all have specific patterns of development. If you disturb that pattern, you could end up with a fruit fly and an antenna coming out of the eye, or a leg instead of a wing, and that's all a result of disrupting those specific boundaries.
So what kind of role does Mendelian genetics play in your research?
So Mendelian genetics plays a very important role in my research because I'm constantly asking questions about how a gene and different genotypes will affect the organism Drosophila and its phenotype, so specific characters that I'm looking at, like their wings or their eye color. That helps me ask important questions about problems like in development.
you so much for your time, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Well, we definitely have more of a grasp of what Mendelian genetics is, how it affects our community, and the role it plays in inheritance and development. Is this really something that should be taken from our children's education? If you feel this is an important topic and should not be removed from the educational curriculum, you can join the protesters at the school district building, among many other groups fighting for the survival of this topic. Among them, Mendel's gangsters, aka the Mendel G's, are adamant in their fight to continue the education of Mendelian genetics to future generations. We thank you for your time and attention. My name is Sahil Vora, and you're watching Eye on Education. We hope to see you tomorrow.